moving on from Facebook to another pressing issue, this one of caste and reservation, which has yet again stoked violence in India. A week after protests by Dalit groups over the alleged dilution of the caste law left 11 people dead. Today, hundreds of youths took to the streets, this time opposing caste-based reservation quotas in education and jobs. At least 12 people have been injured in these violent clashes in the state of Bihar. Supporting this Bharat Bandh or All India lockdown, the groups blocked roads at several places, halted trains and forcibly closed markets in several locations in Bihar, including the state capital, Patna. Prohibitory orders involving Section 144 of the Indian Penal Code were imposed in Rajasthan's Jaipur and Madhya Pradesh's Bhopal and Uttarakhand's Nainital. But unlike the protests of April 2nd, today's lockdown failed to garner substantial support. The government was caught off guard amid last week's Dalit outrage that went out of control, pushing the BJP chief and senior leaders to say that they are pro-Dalit, blaming the opposition of conspiring against the centre and instigating the violence. Now, with nearly 30 crore of India's population belonging to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, the Dalit vote is significant. It's only logical for any political party to not alienate this group, with the general elections just around the corner. That's right. The issue of caste and reservation, remember, has stoked violence in India on numerous occasions. It's happening once again. This month itself has witnessed at least 2 events of that kind. Last week, protests by Dalit groups over the alleged dilution of the caste law left 11 people dead. Today, hundreds of youths took to the streets opposing the caste-based reservation quotas in education and jobs. Speaking of reservations, thousands of students across Bangladesh have staged anti-reservation protests after violent clashes at the Dhaka University left at least 100 people injured. The protests turned violent after police fired rubber bullets and tear gas at students who were protesting the discriminatory quotas, as they call them, in government services. The students are angry at the government's decision to reserve 56% of civil service jobs for the families of veterans from the 1971 War of Independence and disadvantaged groups. That leaves most university graduates to fight for only 44% of jobs. It was one of the biggest protests faced by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in her decade of power. After the massive agitation, the governments agreed to review the quota system. In fact, classes at the university had to be suspended as students occupied the main square, calling for reform. And WION's bureau chief in Bangladesh was at the spot of those protests in Dhaka. He filed this report. Take a look.
Students have gathered here at the Dhaka University demanding an explanation for the attacks that have been carried out on the protesting students in the last couple of days. They have been demanding a reform in the reservation process in the recruitment in public services. 3 days have elapsed and the protest is still going on. The primary demand is that the reservation of 56% be reduced to a tolerable limit for them so that common students have more access and eligibility to enter into government jobs. In Dhaka, at the Dhaka University, Sadha Mahdi, WION.